Welcome to the Hyper Growth Zone podcast. This is your go-to resource for personal growth, mastering communication, and influencing and persuasion techniques that will help you unleash the full potential of yourself and others. Here is your host, Alex Morgan.
Welcome to another episode of the Hyper Growth Zone podcast. My name is Alex Morgan, and I'm a master trainer of hypnosis and NLP. And on this episode, we're going to look at how you can use hypnosis for stress, specifically stress, because a lot of people, they walk around with lots of stress. And the thing is there's many things that stress is not doing to contribute to your physical and mental well-being. So let's go ahead and focus on using hypnosis and how you can do that and the things that it can help with in regards to stress reduction. So stress, if you have it, the thing is many people, they don't want to do something about stress until it comes full circle right in their face and they're so stressed. They can feel it in their body. They can feel it in their mind, and they're feeling all of the physiological and psychological effects that stress has on the body and mind. However, stress is not something that just creeps up on you. Stress is there, it's lingering for a long time. So actually, if you have a daily practice of hypnosis, or you have something, exercise, good sleep, if you do things, create calm, if you do things throughout the day that reduce stress, and you have a good practice of actually doing this, then stress isn't going to all of a sudden blow up in your face. It's not going to creep up on you. Like I said, you're going to be able to have something to reduce it each day to where you won't even have to worry about stress being in your reality anymore. So the important thing to consider is there's lots of physiological and psychological effects that stress can have. And hypnosis, it can easily help with all of these. So stress is actually the body's natural response to what we may think as perceived threats or challenges. And these can either be real or imagined. So when we have this perceived threat, it triggers something inside of us, some physiological or psychological reaction that we have that shows us, hey, you need to cope with this situation. So what we want to improve is we don't want to have stress, because stress in moderation, of course, you might need a little stress to help yourself feel tired before sleep, for example. However, we don't want these triggers, all these responses to lead to chronic or excessive stress, because this can have a detrimental effect on both your physical and your mental health. So there's lots of physiological effects of stress. So if you have any of these, then you definitely want to look at what you can do in this episode with hypnosis, which I'll share in a bit, so that you can get rid of some of these things, because these things are going to also lead to negative emotions in the body. And eventually that could lead to disease. So some physiological effects on stress are you keep continually activating the stress response. So this could have things like cortisol and adrenaline. This puts you in fight or flight, and this could increase your heart rate, blood pressure, and it really shoots your energy up. It also has an impact on the cardiovascular system. So chronic stress can contribute to hypertension, high blood pressure. I can attest to this one. Throughout my life, I'd had some different bouts with hypertension or high blood pressure. The third one, suppression of the immune system. So if you have stress and it's prolonged stress, chronic stress, it's excessive, you can weaken the immune system. And just like I said, this can lead to disease, or you can have different infections, illnesses. It can cause different muscle tension, pain. This can lead to things like back pain, headaches, other issues Sleep disturbances. Stress can definitely interfere with sleep patterns. So you could have things like different sleep disorders like insomnia. And what happens when you have this? Your stress continues. It's like a vicious cycle that keeps going and going and going. And if you have stress, it can lead to different changes in appetite or different changes in your weight. So you want to make sure that you're eating properly so you can lower your stress. There's some different psychological effects on stress as well. Things like emotional distress. So when you have those responses and you get triggered, this can lead to things like anxiety, irritability, frustration. You can have different mood swings. And over time, maybe this could even lead to things like depression or anxiety disorders. This can lead to behavioral changes. So people that have lots of stress, maybe they think they can resort to things like smoking, drinking, drugs, or they withdraw from their social circles. Stress can also have a huge impact on relationships at work, with loved ones, with your spouse, partner. This can lead to many different misunderstandings and also can decrease intimacy. And overall, it just reduces your quality of life. So if you have stress, maybe this leads to things like burnout, sense of being overwhelmed all the time, or dissatisfaction. So I think it's important that you understand that if you have any of these physical or mental effects here, these physiological or psychological effects because of stress, then yes, there are many effective stress management strategies. However, in this episode, we're going to dive into specifically hypnosis because that's what I do. And we're going to use this to promote your overall well-being and how you can feel really good instead, and how you can let go of stress. So the first thing that you really want to do is you want to find out the different things that trigger you, because these are the things that cause the stress response. So if you have things in your daily life that are constantly triggering you and causing you stress, then you need to kind of take a little inventory and decide if these things are necessary in your life, if you really need to have them. Because if you do need to have them and they're necessary, then you need to change how you respond to them. And we can do that with hypnosis. Now, if you don't need them in your life, then definitely get rid of the trigger. Get rid of it. There's no sense in having it if it's going to lead to stress. So one of the things that you can do, this is a simple exercise if you can't get rid of the trigger, is when you notice that you have this stress. What we're going to do is you're going to use each of your fists. So your left fist and your right fist. So start with your left fist, and when you feel that stress, think of that moment and how you feel, and you clench your left fist as hard as you can as you think of that. After about 10 seconds, let go of your left fist. Clear your mind, and now think of something that's empowering, a resourceful emotion. A time you were totally confident or totally focused, or you were laughing so much, you were having such a good time. Something really, really positive. And think of what you saw, what you heard, and really feel the feelings of that. And as you do that, use the opposite fist, clench your right fist nice and tight for about 10 seconds. Good. And then you let go. So now on your left fist, you have the stress. On your right fist, you have the confidence. The thing is eventually we're going to clench both of them at once. And the theory here is that since you set the positive emotion last, it's going to get rid of the left one. So clench both fists at once and allow that stress to just go, because you don't need it anymore. You don't need that trigger anymore. Instead, you could feel positive emotions instead. So hold those for about 10 seconds, just like you did the first time. And now you should feel much better. It's kind of like they were battling against each other. However, since the other one's more powerful in the right fist, the confidence or whatever other forceful or positive empowering emotion it should get rid of the stress. Now, what this also does is neurologically, this starts to create a new response because it's going to build a habit where you start to, instead of having this trigger and having a stress response, the more you do this and the more you practice this, you're going to actually have a habit of going into positive emotions. How many times in the past when you got stressed did you actually think of something positive? Probably not that many times. That's why the stress continues. So this only takes about a minute, and you can do it as many times in a day as you want. However, over time, after a while, you're not even going to have to clench your fists anymore because you're going to be able to feel positive emotions instead. You won't choose stress anymore because you're so used to using the positive emotions and letting those overpower the stress. Now, another thing that most people, they don't even know what stress is really doing to their body. So that's why it's also good to just clench the fist without thinking anything and just notice what is the difference between tension and relaxation. So clench one of your fists as tight as you can, really tense up that part of your body for about 10 seconds. After about 10 seconds, you can open your hand slowly and just notice how that feels throughout your palm and your fingers and your fingertips instead. The first one was tension. The second feeling, that was relaxation. And it's a huge difference. So hypnosis, we can actually create this relaxation, this calm, this inner peace. We can create different sensations as opposed to stress. Most people, they're used to, oh, I'm stressed. I feel stressed. I'm going to get stressed. When this happens, I get stressed. Instead, why not have ways to also be thinking, oh, this is happening. I can feel calm. I can feel at peace. My life doesn't have to be chaotic. I can feel powerful, focused in this moment. What would that do for you? What would that allow you to do? Would that be useful for you? So we're going to talk about a way to do that right now. One way to do that is with a technique called autogenic training. I've talked about this in different episodes before. However, if you haven't listened to those episodes, I think it's really important that I mention it again here. Autogenic training essentially means that you're creating your own sensations from within. So you need to practice this, and it only takes a few minutes. You can practice on different parts of your body. I'm going to tell you the different parts of your body that you can practice on, and you give yourself the suggestions. That's the thing about hypnosis, is all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. So if you came to me for a session of hypnosis, I would ask you various questions for about 30 minutes, and then we would do about 30 minutes of hypnosis. However, I take the information that you're saying, and in a very strategic way, I place it in this session so you can benefit the most, because this allows you to connect to the resources inside of you with your unconscious mind so you can create new solutions and opportunities instead of focusing on your problem. So instead of focusing on stress, we're going to focus on different sensations. One of the places that you can do this is your hands. So if you sit down and relax just for a minute, you can breathe in and out. Take a nice deep breath into your stomach. When you start this, your stomach should go out on the in-breath, and it should go in on the out-breath. Just focus on that breath for a minute, and then you can tell yourself, my hands are warm and heavy. My hands are warm and heavy. My hands are warm and heavy. So that's how you do it with the hands. You can do it with your stomach. My stomach is soft and warm. My stomach is soft and warm. My stomach is soft and warm. You can do it with your heartbeat. My heartbeat is calm and regular. My heartbeat is calm and regular. My heartbeat is calm and regular. And you can do it with your forehead. My forehead is calm and cool. My forehead is calm and cool. My forehead is calm and cool. So with each of those, you're creating a different sensation besides stress in a different part of your body. And you can also give suggestions in between, like, I feel calm and steady. I feel calm and peaceful. This is so calm and peaceful. Tell yourself different things that you want to feel. And the more you do this, it only takes a few minutes a day. The more you do this, the more you're going to get used to creating these responses. Instead of a stress response, you're going to create a response in your body that feels calm. It feels cool. It might feel a bit warm, heavy, but these won't be tension or stress. And if you do this, you can even do it before sleep. Get nice and calm before sleep or when you wake up. Imagine doing that when you wake up. Start the day with this. How good would that feel? So this is another way that you can really create different sensations besides stress, because that's what you want to do. You don't want to have a stress response. You want to have a feel-good response. And I always say about hypnosis, one of the biggest benefits is feeling good. And I have a whole episode on the benefits of hypnosis, so you can go ahead and listen to that. Why would we want to choose stress when we could choose feeling good? So once we get rid of stress, that allows us to fill up our reality with all of the good stuff that we want. We won't have those negative emotions around stress. We won't have those physiological or mental responses. Instead, we can choose things like calm, confidence, well-being, fun, whatever it is. We can have fun with our friends, our family. We can get more work done. We can be more productive because stress was holding us back. So instead, we get to do all of these things. Another thing that you can do, and I also use this with clients for anxiety, is you can imagine yourself, if you're stressed, imagine you're standing behind a line. You can do a little visualization. So imagine you're behind a line. And on one side of the line, on the other side away from you, is stress. And the side that you're on is calm and peace. And you can imagine that stress. I'm doing it right now as I'm talking. You can imagine that stress fading away, going further and further away. And the line, the side that you're on, is that calm and that peace. And you're safe there. And you're feeling good. So this is a nice little visualization that you can also use. So you can use it with the line, or another thing that I like to do, and I learned this through one of my mentors in hypnosis, Richard Nongard, is you can imagine a big white puffy cloud. You're in a nice relaxing place, so whatever that is for you. And imagine that cloud is like stress or tension. And the wind starts to blow it away. Maybe it goes a mile away. Next thing you know, it's 10 miles away, 100, 200 miles away. And it even starts to go 1,000 miles away. And you probably can't even feel stress anymore. So those are some different techniques that really will allow you to stop feeling stress. And they're all about creating different responses. And stress is something that you can easily manage. So as soon as you notice it come up, do one of these. And that will then not allow those things that trigger it and cause a response to do that anymore, because your body will be used to feeling good. So use your new insights, your new understandings, all this expertise that you now have around stress to actually do something about it. You don't need to sit there and freeze or fear or anything of, oh my gosh, I have stress. What do I do? Now you have easy and simple things to do. And if you feel like you want to do a private session to easily get rid of stress or anything else that you want to work on, so you can also imagine all the new results that you want, then reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Instagram at Alex Morgan Hypnosis. You can go to my website, athensnlp.com, see what I offer, or you can send me an email, alex@athensnlp, and all of these things will also be in the show notes of the episode. So thanks so much for listening. I hope that if you struggle with something like stress or any of the physiological or psychological effects that it has, I hope this has really helped you. And if it did, and you know someone else with stress, then definitely share the episode with them so this can get into the minds of so many other people. Please make sure to rate the podcast wherever you're listening. And I hope to see you on the next episode.